What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hopefully you're having a good one. Today, I'm making probably one of 100,000 videos that has been going around the last month, but I wanted to talk about it because it's one of the things I don't really get to talk about on the channel, and I love talking about sports. And we're going to talk about the NBA today and their viewership decline, which I've talked about before in a video I made a few years ago about the NBA's decline in viewership, but this year, especially coming up from this past season, it is abysmally low. I think they lost like 48% of their viewers, like near half. It is absolutely atrocious, man. And yeah, it's basically what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about how Adam Silver has made, just is just a terrible commissioner. And we're going to talk about, the NBA ref problem, the 3-point attempt problem, the All-Star game, and so much more. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. So a lot of the big problems that have come around with the NBA have come well past the time of David Stern. And David Stern's obviously passed away, but Adam Silver, ever since he's taken over as commissioner back in 2014, hell, probably even earlier than that, there has been, let's just say, a competition problem. There has been a ref problem. Oh my God, you can just make a whole video on the NBA ref problem in itself. With referees like Scott Foster and Terry Brothers and Ben fucking Taylor, of course. Oh my God. Ben Taylor's got to be like one of the worst referees in the history of officiating. Like, don't even let that man near a fucking elementary school basketball game. Like, that dude's fucking terrible. But Adam Silver, as a commissioner, he has really been kind of just soft. He's also been part of the wave of commissioners that have been part of the, he's promoted player empowerment where players will just, they'll put themselves anywhere. And it makes the game just boring, in my opinion. I think the whole player empowerment movement was really to just get players to be lazy. That's where I think the competition problem really stems from, is the whole promotion of player empowerment. And Adam Silver is a big responsibility on why that is the case. He's all for player empowerment, but he's also he says he's all for, trying to bring viewership and increase profits. But the way he's done it has been a corporate, slimy, just, the whole VR experience thing and AI figures and NFTs and whatever the fuck else he's done. It's just, this man is, the way he does business. If you're a business person, let me give you some advice as a business major in college. Never do what this man does for business. Just don't do that. If you come up with an idea and you're presenting it to your let's just say your boss is going to wonder, all right, how much money are we going to be spending on this, and how much profit are we going to be bringing in? So if your idea costs me $50,000, if I'm not at least breaking even with, if you're not giving me 60 where I at least get $10,000 profit, you fucking suck. That's just the best way about it. If you're not at least breaking even on these type of sales, you are absolutely a fucking dumbass. That's just the best way I can describe it. And Adam Silver, the last few years, the NBA ratings, ever since 2020, especially with the pandemic, everyone's like, oh, you can blame, pirating streams. Oh, you can blame, he's pirating streams and streaming services, etc., etc. If people want to watch the product, they will. And no better example of this was shown than on Christmas Day this year, where the NFL was on fucking Netflix and the NBA was on ESPN. And even last year, the NFL was on regular television on cable TV during Christmas Day, which the NBA is notorious for having really good Christmas Day ratings, as Christmas is usually their day. But this year, and last year especially, it was just not it. And as I said at the beginning of the video, the viewership for the NBA is down 48%, nearly half the viewers are lost. That doesn't just come from a streaming issue or a pirating issue. If people want to pay for the product, they will pay for the product. I can honestly say that for certain. And Adam Silver is a big responsibility of just like, he doesn't have like, let me just say, he doesn't have a fucking backbone to really just give any salt or anything like that to people. And he is a major reason why, and a major catalyst why the NBA is the way it is today. And obviously there are better videos that have been highlighting in more further detail, but that's really just all I really have to say about Adam Silver. I mean, he does these really unnecessary things. He is also part of the whole, like, you know, social justice warrior, stupid bullshit drive. And instead of y'all are more worried about catering to fucking politics of LeBron James than actually promoting the game of basketball. And that's also a primary reason why he is the way it is. But that's all I really have to say on this. Let's move on to the next part. You all should probably have seen this next one coming from a mile away. The NBA referees, basically, they are notorious for just being terrible. Just absolutely terrible. And they are, I don't even know if there's anyone close in other sports leagues that are just terrible than them. I mean, here's literally a fucking example right here of just a shitty referee call.
Kid Gilchrist, the only defender back. Resurgent! Wow! Oh, they called an offensive foul!
No way!
They called an offensive foul. I don't know what in the heck for, but they called an offensive foul.
He might have fouled Kid Gilchrist's ego, but that's it, man. You let that go.
Nice pocket pass. And Giannis is challenged at the summit, and a foul called on Nurkic. Take a look here. That's all ball.
Goodness.
That is all ball, and there's practically no contact chest to chest.
Free throws down the stretch. Now Bones Highland, check it. Dave
Rivers just got ejected because he threw a ball at Stevenson.
These are three good examples of just how fucking god-fucking awful the NBA refs are, man. And it's just sad to see it, man. It really is. It's just, you try to watch the game and you want to see calls that happen that are just, you know, abide by the rules, but these people act like they're here to see them. Like, no, the fuck, we're not. Just officiate the game and shut the hell up. It's really not that hard. But, you know, for them, it just is, I guess. I don't know. It just is. And those are not even the worst calls I've ever seen in my life. There are illegal screens that are usually never called. There are, you know, flopping has been the big issue for years now. And they're usually, I mean, they finally made it a rule literally about a couple years ago, but literally it was so bad it was unwatchable. And then it's so bad to the point where these bad calls are fucking the game up, and you're making players just a bunch of goddamn free throw merchants, and nobody wants to see that. This isn't like Joel Embiid, you know, who is a goddamn free throw merchant, because they do the up and under constantly. And even though it's not a foul, if you just lightly scratch them with your fucking fingernail, it's a foul. There's no hand checking, which is not. That's been away for a while, but you can't even it's like you lay a fingernail on them, and it's a foul. It's like you just gotta let them go to the bucket. You can't even play defense anymore. And as you saw in that one call where that was all ball getting the block, it's just you can't even play defense, and they call that a foul. These refs, are absolutely dumb. And luckily, the challenge rule has been at least somewhat helpful, but it still hasn't helped the fact that these referees are soft like motherfucking Charmin. We should get them some Charmin Ultra Soft or some hell. These wipes are everywhere. You get some dude wipes, not sponsored by the way. Just because, like, hey, what do you need? Get yourself a dude wipe to wipe the butt hurt that is on your ass right now, brother. That's how it is. Get you some dude wipes to wipe your ass up because you a motherfucking soft. Man, these refs, man. Like I said, you could make a whole video just solely on them. I could make a 35-minute video just on how shit these refs are by just playing a 10-minute compilation and 20 minutes of talking because of how fucking shit they are. It's so bad. It's just so bad. But before I get an aneurysm talking about these referees, let's go ahead and move on to the next part, which to me and to a lot of people, it's going to start becoming a bigger issue. Especially the last couple seasons has been a bigger issue. So let's go ahead and get right into the next part. So this problem has been a huge problem the last couple of years. The Golden State Warriors of the 2015-2016 Warriors, the one that went 73-9, or hell, even the 2017-18 Warriors that were considered to be one of the greatest teams ever assembled outside of the 1996 Bulls. This team wouldn't even be a top 5 team in today's NBA because of how awful the 3-point attempt number counter has gone up. It has gotten so bad. It's literally gotten so bad to the point that you just would not imagine how bad it's gotten. I kid you not. Here's literally a photo right here. This was the number of attempts taken by, I think this was the Boston Celtics, right? In one game. That is, and you see some of these like role players who are taking more than 5 threes a game. You do not need to be taking more than 5 threes a game, bro. And these coaches, I mean, they don't really do anything spectacular to help the problem. They just, I don't know, they just exist. And it just doesn't do anything to help the game. It's actually turned people off. And you see these people who are like playing the 5, who are usually like, when you think of the 5, you think of people like Shaquille O'Neal and David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon, who dominate the paint. You see, I kid you not, there's one player in the NBA right now. His name's Victor Wembanyama, who is an absolute freaking alien, and he's insanely good, by the way. He's 7'5", and he's shooting the 3 ball. And yes, he can knock them down at a good clip. That's really cool and all, but he should not be shooting the 3. You're 7'5". You should not be shooting the 3 ball. I'm just saying. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some good knockdown shooters from the center. Karl Anthony Towns, great 3-point shooter. Hell, even Nikola Jokic, best player in the world right now, on such a mediocre Nuggets team. You're ruining his prime with that, by the way. Great 3-point shooter. In fact, I think he was actually leading the league at one point this season in 3-point percentage. Even over the greatest 3-point shooter, or just the greatest shooter in general, Steph Curry. How do you this makes no logical sense to me. I can understand it if it's someone who's typically managed to be like a 3-and-D guy. Nikola Jokic is a 5, plays the 5. He doesn't play the 1 or the 2 or the 3. This dude plays the 5. Centers should not be shooting the 3, man. It just does not make any logical sense to me. I'm just saying. That's like seeing Rudy Gobert. I mean, people see people like Rudy Gobert as an offensive liability. At least he plays the center position as a fucking center. Same with people like Yusuf Nurkic. And, Kevon Looney, they're natural centers. Just because you're not shooting the three, like Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid and whoever else, this doesn't make any sense. You don't need to be shooting the three at the 5. No, that makes no sense. There are not many people in the NBA that could do that shit. I'm just saying. That's also another thing with the 3-point problem. I'm going to add this into this a little bit. This could be its own issue in itself. With along the ref problem, as I forgot to mention earlier, the defense, there is lack of defense simply because, not only just because of the ref problem, but in general, there's just a bunch of lack of defense. There's no effort to get back and, try to contest or any of that shit. It has gotten so bad to the point you're like, there's no point in even like watching because the competition problem is so bad. And with the number of 3-point attempts, you're like, why is this even a thing? So it turns people off. There's no dunking. Dunking's supposed to be the most entertaining play in basketball. The most entertaining thing for the NBA, it's like, yes, this guy hit a step-back 3-pointer from, like, Treyway, which is one of the hardest shots to make in anyone's life. It just makes no logical sense to me. And I think the number of threes being taken, it increases every year, which, again, fair enough, but it's unnecessary to have a team that the fact that the 2018 Warriors would be ranked 12th or 13th. I can't remember which position it was, but I think it was 12th or 13th. Which was the number one offense back in the day, by the way. This really explains the issues that why Gen Z and Gen Alpha, all they really care about is, people who shoot the three. They call us all, we're done with the 90s. We're done with the 90s. People like that are some of the dumbest fans I've ever seen in my life. And that's probably why a lot of people are turned off to the NBA now, because of people like those dumbasses on the internet that say stupid shit like that. Like, first of all, you're wrong. Shut the fuck up. Second of all, it turns people off from the game. It really does. And the 3-point attempt problem is it's unnecessary to have a team shoot 50 fucking times per game. I can understand maybe doing like 25, 30 attempts, but 50 to 60 is ridiculous, bro. The paint is there for a reason. You can get an and one in the paint and make a free throw at the line. And a lot of these coaches, they literally have the same goddamn playbook. They don't really try to change anything. That's why I respect people like the old heads like Greg Popovich, But yeah. That's all I'm really going to say on this part. Let's go ahead and then talk about the All-Star Game next, which is going to, honest to God, could have its own video too. A lot of these parts could just have its own video. So let's go ahead and get right into that. Probably one of the saddest things on this list that I had to mention was the All-Star Game. Obviously, the All-Star Game is an event that, for most professional sports, a lot of people like to look forward to see who the All-Star is, whether it's the NFL, NBA, MLB, whoever. And the NBA usually likes to have a competitive All-Star Game to see who versus the Eastern Conference and Western Conference typically is like the best of the best and who is going to compete. However, the last 2 All-Star Games, it's been longer than that, but the last 2 in particular were absolutely just embarrassingly terrible. And I could play a multitude of clips, but I'm sure you guys have seen them online anyway about just how terrible it is. But if you want to see a clip, I got one right here for you. I swear to God, I spent the last 15 minutes trying to find a fucking clip for the All-Star game. It literally took me forever. I think YouTube is hiding their shit because of how embarrassingly trash the NBA All-Star game was in 2024. The ratings showed for it too. The ratings were terrible, and the game was terrible. And if you watched the 2002 NBA All-Star game, or hell, even the 2010 one, it was competitive. It was, as Kobe Bryant said, it's like the greatest pickup basketball game in the world. But it's mediocre. It's boring. It's like the players just don't care. They're really just there for a paycheck and just that's it. And that's why I think there's a big competition problem with the NBA. There's players, everyone wants to rave how this is the most talented era. This is the best basketball players in the world, the better than any era of any part of the NBA in history of the existence of the NBA. And if that is the case, why are they not on the same level of competitive as players from like the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, or even the 60s and 70s, which people call the plumber era? Where's the competition? Where's the competitive drive for these players? Because if every game I see, it's just non-existent. And you can complain and bitch and moan in the comment section on how I'm wrong and how I'm a piece of shit, or I'm not watching any of the games, even though I fucking am. That's why I'm making this goddamn video. You can make all these assumptions and make all these statements and make all these bullshit comments and whatever with you, but at the end of the day, you're going to look back and look at this time and be like, what the fuck was even this era? And it's the competition and then the All-Star game in general. It represents a greater problem with the NBA. And obviously the NBA media, which I should have made a whole topic on them, but you can honestly make a whole video on the NBA media itself, because god fucking damn, they're not even worth my breath. They're just not. But they're definitely part of the reason why viewership has declined. Kendrick Perkins, Shannon Sharp, a bunch of fucking bronze sexuals that, it's never LeBron's fault, but, at the time where the Lakers were struggling, he was 0 from like fucking 20 for 3, but it's not LeBron's fault. It's everyone else's fault but LeBron's. And he's 40 years old, give him some slack. But when he does these amazing acrobats, you're like, oh my God, this dude's 40 and he's still doing great. Go. Oh my God. Just please stop. Please stop. So that's why the NBA media is just not worth my breath on that. That's all I'm really going to say on that. Let's go ahead and cue the outro. So in conclusion, the NBA has a lot of issues. And I love the game of basketball. And I love watching college basketball. And I know the college basketball may have a few issues that it may be having right now, but at least college is, the competition in college basketball, the defensive prowess, there's at least defense being played in college. And the NBA, yes, you have defense and the occasional cool block shot and all that shit, or steal, but they're just defense, true competitive defense where you can, you have to, barely put your hand on them just so they can contort the other way. It's not there anymore. It's just not. They'll call a foul on anything nowadays. It really is just like that. But yeah, that's all I really got to say. If there's really any possible way to fix this, the NBA would get a new commissioner. I think Adam Silver needs to go. I think someone who is knowledgeable in the game of basketball, or someone who is well respected, should be the new commissioner. because Adam Silver is certainly not. I think the All-Star game needs to have a little bit more competition to it. And I think the three-pointers especially need to be toned down just a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying quit shooting three-pointers entirely, but you do not need people who are 7'3" to be shooting the three. You just don't. You have people there's role players you have that are specifically designed to shoot the three. You don't need people who play the center to shoot the three. You just don't. That's all I really got to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a longer video. This video took a while to make, actually, but I feel like it was worth noting. And I know this is like one of, like I said in the beginning, 100,000 plus of these that are coming out daily. So leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you want to see more of these longer videos, these type of videos you usually see are more typically dedicated towards rant videos. This one really isn't a rant per se. I mean, I did rant a little bit, but it's not specifically a rant video. This was just more of one of those big video project designs that I had to do. And it was one of those things I'm like, yes, let's do this type of video. So, yeah, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.